in our culture.
Why did that's always perplexed me a little bit. I mean, I had a chat earlier today, funny enough, with one of my business partners, and I was telling him, we I took him to his first carnival. I've done that for several friends where they've never been to carnival before, and I say, listen, I'm gonna leave it with me. I'm gonna take you to carnival. I'm gonna get everything sorted out, and all you need to do is show up, and I'm gonna show you one of the best days of your life. All you need to do is just follow me. Show up.
Yeah, show up and have an open mind.
That's it, and and we'll see what happens. And invariably, every single one of them now, I see these guys at carnival all the time. I'm not involved. They're going out. They get in their own costume.
You don't have to be the plug anymore.
They've got their own costumes sorted out. They've got their own FET tickets sorted out. Many of them are like, some of them are going more carnivals than I am now, and
right.
You're like, yeah, I'm flying off to Jamaica for Bacchanal Carnival. I'm like, what? So
gotta be fun. Real quick, funny thing. I also forgot to mention that I had a band here in Atlanta for 4 years called Impulse Mass.
All right, okay.
And because I also went. I didn't go to HBC. I went to white school. I went to Georgia Tech. That's where I got my undergraduate degree from.
Right.
So I talk to. I'm very open to different cultures and different people and stuff like of that nature. So it's funny that you say that because I reach out to some people. They're like, "Oh, I want to play mass. I don't know. I've seen the costumes. I've seen the video." And people tell me that you have a band. I say, yeah, a band. My band's called Impulse Mass. We're on the road. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Here's the information. And then after that, they come to you, like, oh, Ira, you changed my life, yada, yada, yada. Experience was so wonderful. I have a friend. I ain't gonna name her name, but she just came back from Brazil. She been to Trinidad, must be 4 times. Mm-hmm. She goes to DJ Steven, big up DJ Steven, International Steven.
Yeah, man.
He does it. Yeah. And people don't really get on a tangent. He was in Atlanta for a number of years too. So Steven was here for a minute before he went out to California and then doing his thing right now.
Okay.
But she goes to Ibiza Soca. She does Ibiza Soca. She lives in Texas, so she does Houston.
Right.
She goes to Miami all the time. She did crop over. And this lady is from North Carolina, she ain't country. She's good people. And she's gone to more carnivals than me. And she's like, Ira, you still haven't been to Trinidad? Yes, I have not been to Trinidad yet, which is a whole other conversation. But she's like, yeah, I came and I played mass with you, and I've been to all these carnivals.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like you said, she don't need me to set up nothing, to get her no information, not like that. They go, they get a little taste, and they're going from here to, they're doing the carnival hop.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They're doing the carnival hop. That's what they're doing. But it's good to see that.
Yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, okay, so I don't know what it's like over on there in Atlanta, but one of the issues that we had and some places still have it a little bit, the masquerade bands pretty much are left with the job of getting their masqueraders, going out there, marketing themselves, getting their masqueraders, producing the costumes, and all of the rest of it. And one of the issues, there have been instances where, because I can remember when I first started Notting Hill Carnival, there was a lot more of a bit of a community spirit. So all of the band leaders kind of knew each other. And you know, I can remember situations where maybe the music truck behind, maybe the sound equipment went down or something went wrong, and you know the band leaders would be able to get together and say, hey, you know, come and join our truck for now until your truck music is back up and running. So there was a lot more of a bit more of a community spirit. Everyone was there to celebrate the culture together. You had different band leaders. But one of the things that I started to see a little bit later on was that the because the pool of people who would participate and knew about Carnival was so small, and there were more people setting up new mass bands in the Carnival, there almost came to be a point where mass bands weren't so quick to help each other anymore, because the pool of potential quote unquote customers was shrinking. So and what I mean by that is none of them were putting things in place to try to appeal to and create new audiences, new customers. But that means obviously that the only people that you can put yourself in front of are people who already know about the culture, already know about Carnival, which basically means that if you and me were running a mass band, if there's a person, the person who's going and signing up with you isn't signing up with me, which means obviously now there's a bit of an issue. So I don't know. I suppose what I'm getting at is I wanted to find out if that's ever been an issue, or if that issue ever occurs over at Atlanta Carnival at all. It doesn't happen so much at the moment anymore, because there seems to be a bit more of a reforging of bonds and people getting to know each other and collaborate a bit more. So I'm happy to see that. But do you ever see any of that kind of those kind of issues occurring for Atlanta Carnival?
From being in the community for so long, I have not heard of something like that.
That's cool.
Happen. And even if I thought I would have some audio, but what also do you notice? I've seen some video. Mm-hmm. What also you would notice is that over the last few years, even probably before that, you have more band leaders that are supporting each other.
Good.
So if me and you are separate, you have your mass band, like you just said, you have your mass band, I have my mass band, where, you have your launch last week, I would go support, what I'm saying, come check you, see what's going on, see what your costumes look like, and then vice versa.
Yes.
You see a lot of that in Atlanta. You will see a number of different band leaders and stuff like that. We did it all the time. When we had our band on the road, that we would actually go out and either support other bands, you know what I mean, or just want to go out on fete and have a good time.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, what people don't realize, even as a band leader, not everybody that come to your band launch is going to be signing up for you.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So even if I'm out there, I ain't gonna necessarily be pillaging your customers. I'm trying to get customers sign up and say, hey, I have my band, come check me out. And more times than not, a lot of people are gonna sign up either one based on who's starting the band, who else is in the band, and who else has played with the band previously.
Yes.
Because it's all experience. If you have a pool of friends and everybody played with, say 5 people played with the Garvey's band, you know what I mean, the night last year, 3 out of the 5 or whatever played with Garvey, and they say, hey, the experience was that great. Them other 2 are going to want to play with Garvey because, one, your friends are there. Who else? I hate when my friends are there. You know what I mean?
That's
so
right.
I can party with my friends. The experience was good. Customer service is big, so you want to make sure that, hey, I am going to have a good experience with the band that I play with, and then there is in some situations by human nature, not everybody likes monotony. Meaning, if you get the same thing every year, that may be good. There may be somebody who wants to try a different band.
Yes.
So that's not necessarily saying that I'm going to steal a band, a person, a masquerader from your band. Some people just want to try different things. I hear situations all the time when people go to Trinidad who trying to play with Tribe. If they can't get in the Tribe, they go with Yuma, or they might go Peter Mention, or Menchal or whatever. So it's like, okay, if you did one set of bands for a number of years, you might want to try something different. So it's not necessarily that you're stealing. Sometimes people just want to try something different. Yeah. And a lot of times, like I said, in Atlanta, there's more of a collaboration type of situation
I like
where
to hear that. That's good.
I'm going to support. Yeah, it's more of a support type of situation. And even though Atlanta is very, very spread out. You know what I'm saying? Atlanta is not like a New York or some other places where you can easily get to and from places.
Okay.
So it's like a lot of people would know who you are. You know what I'm saying? If you come in and 9 times out of 10, I would be the person to introduce you or whatever, and then people say, yeah, that's Ira Bridge and yada, yada, yada. But more times than not, if you're in the community, in the community, and people will know who you are based on somebody else or just knowing how you move and stuff like that. And what people don't realize is Atlanta has a place, or Metro Atlanta has a lot of Caribbean people, right? Meaning that people are all over the place. So even if, like we said earlier, if a lot of us don't stay in Stone Mountain on the east side of Atlanta area, there are people in the northwest, the south, southeast, because again, it's so spread out. So if you can't come to all of the fets on one side, there may be little pockets of places to go.
And honestly, some of them small fets are some of the best ones, man. To be honest.
And that's the thing. You're absolutely right. And it's funny that you say small fets, because some of the small fets can be small fets from small islands, and it's just like, oh, well, you're playing only WCK, Bouillon, or Antigua VI music, and it's like you introduce a Trinity or St. Lucian or somebody is like, oh, we didn't know y'all start like that. Well, yeah, if it was open-minded to other Caribbean islands or whatever, you would understand. And that's the other thing about Atlanta too. For a number of years, you had little pockets to where this was a VI club, or this was a VI spot, or this was a Trinity spot, things of that nature. It's not that anymore, because a number of years ago, there are a couple of different things that happened, and it kind of changed the overall nightlife of Atlanta. This is like 2002-ish. Okay. And it's not, say, a Caribbean person that did it. This was the whole Ray Lewis Super Bowl weekend thing where it was basically a guy got shot.
Oh, damn.
And if you look at, a guy got shot in Buckhead, right? And that kind of changed not only just the Caribbean market, but for the hip-hop, R&B, the nightclub scene in Atlanta, to where if any club in Atlanta now, for a minute, it used to close. I want to say a lot of clubs in Atlanta used to close about 4 o'clock. And we as Caribbean people, even though I hate it because we still be on Caribbean time, don't necessarily come out till later times at night. Right? So what that did, the mayor at the time, she's like, hey, clubs and stuff like that now are going to close earlier.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's still now, that changed the marketplace in Atlanta to where it's now a situation, or has been a situation where you're not able to close. You're able to stay. You're not able to stay open as late as you used to.
Right.
And so the whole vibe, the whole scene of Atlanta is different. I tell people all the time, and if you know somebody that's been in Atlanta over, say, about 15 years, they will tell you Atlanta now versus Atlanta back then is really, really different. And people say they love Atlanta. I still like Atlanta, love Atlanta, but the vibe back then different than what the vibe is now.
Right.
And for the Caribbean market, it's definitely changed. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people are still back doing a lot of events out in the DeKalb County area, because you can actually go out later, and the clubs and so forth, the restaurants actually stay open a little later out there too.
Yeah.
That was another reason. That was another reason too. But yeah, the whole nightlife, nightclub scene in Atlanta has been different. It's not quite the same. So you have to know your little pockets of places or your different clubs nowadays to know when there's going to be a Caribbean night. You know what I'm saying? When there's going to be, playing Caribbean music and things of that nature. And I don't know what it's like in the UK, but there's always been issues to where if you're at a hip-hop club or just a regular club where you only hear the same 10, 15 songs for a reggae or a Caribbean set.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if I hear Murder She Wrote, Sean Paul, you know what I'm saying? Murder She Wrote, Sean Paul, and then Raise Your Flag, and in a matter of 3 minutes, and then all of a sudden they flip it, and then you can't hear reggae or soca for the rest of the night. It's like, my Caribbean people. It's like, okay, do I got to hear the same 10 songs? But no, we're getting a little bit more clout now.
Yeah, man. So for the carnival, one of the other things I wanted to find out. So when I spoke to one of the interviews I did was with this chick. Her name's Deanna. She lives in the United States, and she was telling me about carnival down there. I think it was Labor Day Carnival she was talking about, and she was saying that
New York.
Yeah, I think it was New York.
Brooklyn.
And I can't pronounce the the organization that were running it, Whitaker, WIAD.
I think it's DCA, Waika.
Yeah,
Waika, I think it is.
yeah. But basically, she was one of
Yeah.
the things she was mentioning was that the some of it is a little bit poorly organized. She was saying that people obviously go out there to have fun, but a lot of the time people don't. There are a lot of people who are on the streets at the time that the carnival's going on who don't. They're like what they don't know. They don't know what's happening.
What's going on?
Yeah,
Right.
and I think she was saying that there's sometimes there as a result sometimes there's trouble that occurs not from people who are coming to participate and take part in the fun, but people who obviously don't understand the culture, don't know what's going on. Juve morning, I think she was saying there was trouble either last year or the year before. So I wanted to find out, like, what with Atlanta, what's it like over there? Juve morning. Do you have Juve morning over there? Actually,
Actually, for a while we didn't. So it's funny you say that. So, all right. So we used to not have Juve, right? We used to not have Juve, nor on the road. Juve used to be an event. Big up Crushmore. Crushmore, there's a guy. He's Dominican and he's also VI.
Okay.
And he also has a restaurant. He need to pay me for some shameless plugs.
Yeah, man.
But,
plug away, man. Plug away.
Definitely. But Juve was actually an event at a club in Stone Mountain.
Right.
And basically, it used to start about 10, 11 o'clock. And it used to go till about 4 o'clock. And you've had artists like Bungie, Fayan, Patrice, Flames, a number of the big artists would come and perform. So for a number of years, there wasn't an actual Juve on the road. Over the last couple of years, we're now able to do a Juve on the road in DeKalb County, right? So it's not really that much of an issue per se, because it's something to where, again, because it's in DeKalb County, you have more of your Caribbean people there, right? So they have an affiliation or understanding as far as what Juve is. You know what I mean? Because again, we want to have it, or people want to have it in DeKalb County. So Juve wouldn't necessarily be an issue. If you were to do it, say, somewhere else, if we're not teaching them about what Juve is, it would potentially be more of an issue there. There's also another group that's doing a Juve type of event. I want to say that's also in Atlanta, but it's again enclosed. So that Juve won't be on the road. But I know, like I said, there is a Juve in DeKalb County. So yeah, we will have trucks and stores on the road. Right.
Okay. So if obviously it's too late for me this year, but maybe next year I might have to come down and check out Atlanta.
Oh, definitely.
Carnival. Would it be something you would it be something you recommend, like it for the people over here, over in the UK who are watching this? Would you recommend it something to check out?
Oh, definitely. It's Atlanta. I mean, again, I think Atlanta still needs more promotion, more marketing.
Okay.
Because everybody knows New York. As you were saying, like, I've been to New York Carnival, and honestly, like you said, there's a couple million people on the Parkway. You know what I mean? It's very, very congested. And I'll be frank and honest, one of the worst experiences or one of the worst feelings that I have is, and I haven't been in the last couple of years, is where they have the mounted police, New York City police, come on the horses and things of that nature with the street sweepers at the end of the parade, and there's just like, all of a sudden, parade done after that. And I just like, well, I mean, the feeling just to me just don't feel like you're welcome. And it's like, okay, y'all got your little time. You did your thing, now get off the street.
Yeah.
And the other thing, as we were talking about that regarding Eastern Parkway and Brooklyn, it's just like anything. You're gonna have your knuckleheads that are going to want any sort of excuse to do stupid stuff. And it just so happens sometimes that it's affiliated with our carnival and our culture. And it's not anything that we can do about it. It's just like you said, you have knuckleheads all over. But again, because it's us, we sometimes are associated with that. I've been to a bunch of other ethnicity events where you have sometimes the worst, just things happen just as bad over there as it would for us. You know what I mean? But again, because it's us and our people, it now becomes such a big thing. Oh, West Indian Day Parade, somebody gets shot, bam, bam, bam. And I'm like, you got the place it's the same thing, if not worse.
Yeah.
So, but like you said, yeah, Atlanta Carnival, man. Like I say, a lot of people sometimes do the carnival hop. So if you go Atlanta, if you come Atlanta Memorial Weekend, you might go Orlando the next day. Then later on, you might go Brooklyn, then you might go Miami, and then make that route. And then after that, you go to the country, and then start it back again. But yeah, I think Atlanta is definitely one of those carnivals that you will definitely have to attend. Because the funny thing about it, people always say, if you're Caribbean, you have family in one or two places. It used to be Miami and New York. Now everybody have a cousin, a friend, or family member in Atlanta.
Wow, okay.
Because again, Atlanta or Metro Atlanta is still relatively inexpensive to live. The problem is Atlanta is just really, really spread out.
Okay.
So you have to know your pockets, and you have to know where to go, and get the things that you need, so forth. Especially if you want the stuff that you know that you can't get from back home. So yeah, Atlanta is definitely I think the carnival people, your carnival network folks, and your fans would have to definitely check out, and you need to come ASAP. Like I've been trying to get to Notting Hill. Is it Notting Hill or Nottingham? Where Carnival is?
Notting Hill Carnival. Notting Hill.
I have an aunt over there from St. Kitts, and she's like, Ira, you need to come. And I'm like, one of these days, maybe when I grow my hair back because I'm bald, I'll make it. I haven't been out there, and I heard it's a really good time too over there too as well.
Yeah, we have fun. You know, it's a city carnival, so it comes with all of the usual restrictions you might expect. However, from my experiences, the police have always treated the masqueraders and the people who are taking part in the carnival with respect. There have been some problems in the past with the police blocking off roads and doing things like that. However, you know, all in all, the police do a bang-up job on you know, making sure that things go okay for No Carnival. For Juve morning is one of my favorite times. There's no one else on the road apart from the hardcore carnival lovers, and you know, I can't be sure, but it seems as though the police that are on the streets at that point in time, like early in the morning, we're talking like 5 or 6 in the morning, the police who are out there seem to know and understand, even if they don't know exactly every bit of information and background about Juve morning, they have an idea of what it's about, you know, what's going to happen, and you know, it's cool. We have a good time. We have a good time at Juve morning. We have a good time throughout the day.